welcome back to Here for This. If you're new here, my name is Jo, and usually with my husband Andy we post theatre, museum, restaurant reviews from across the Liverpool and Manchester areas. Today we have a review of the new Alice in Wonderland production at the Liverpool Playhouse, but as you can see I am flying solo for this one, and that's because I was very kindly invited to the press night for this production with my friend Sarah. So she has a channel which I will leave linked down below. She does a lot of theatre reviews and a lot of press nights, and she very kindly invited me along to essentially be a professional plus one, and I'm not going to turn down the opportunity to go to the theatre as a professional plus one. So that's what I did, which is why it's just me today. Because it was the press night, the tickets were gifted by the Liverpool Playhouse, which is why this video is marked as paid promotion, because yes, it's ad gifted, but yeah, for the avoidance, the tickets were free and I've marked it as paid promotion, but that doesn't influence like the actual review. It's still, and these are what my honest thoughts were, review, not a backhander I got a free ticket to leave a nice review thing. Anyway, basically I went for free, and yeah, this is what I thought of it. So we do go to the Liverpool Playhouse quite often. This year alone we've seen Richard III there, which I will leave a link to up there for our review of that, and we've watched Macbeth, which I don't think we ever got round to filming a review of, but there might be a review on our website with the details in the description box. But it is a theatre that we visit quite a lot. For this production our seats were in the dress circle, which I don't think I've sat in the dress circle for about 12 years. We've always been lucky and sat in the stalls. We were sat in row E, seats 16 and 17, and I have to say the view was really good. I do think if you were in maybe 13, 14 and 15 across all of the rows, you would have at least had a partially obstructed view due to the pillar, and there's another pillar on the other side which I'm going to guess is around about seat 23, 24, 25. I don't know if it does state on the website that it's an obstructed view or not. There were some people who were sat near us who I don't think they were aware that they were going to have an obstructed view, but again they were also at the press night and they hadn't paid for the ticket, so they sort of were just like, it is what it is, like can't really complain when you're getting it for free kind of thing. So yeah, just keep an eye on that just in case it doesn't say on the website, because once there's an obvious obstruction like one row behind the pillar, I do think that even 4 or 5 rows behind, little sections of the stage wouldn't be visible. From where I was seated, they had a sign language interpreter on stage and I could only just see him because of where the pillar was, so even for me it was like a section of the stage was obstructed. So as you can probably guess by the title, this production is based on Lewis Carroll's book of the same name. There is, though, a unique twist that goes with this production. In this production, Wonderland is actually a stereo. Think massive 90s boombox kind of stereo. You know, the like carry it on your shoulder as you're walking down the street style. Think that. The stereo is currently broken and there is a tape stuck inside the stereo. The tape actually is a mixtape that Alice's recently deceased father made for Alice, and it contains songs that he wrote and recorded for her. As you can imagine, Alice is desperate to get the tape out and to get it all working again, and somewhat luckily, Alice is a dab hand at fixing things. There is generally nothing that Alice can't fix. So she gets to work with a screwdriver trying to get it all working. Except as she's trying to fix it, she finds herself taken into the stereo and into Wonderland. Once in Wonderland, Alice meets the eject button, who is basically the White Rabbit and becomes Alice's guide throughout Wonderland. He also becomes a bit of a guide for the audience, but I'll talk about that later. Alice also meets the Queen of Clubs with a Z and the Queen of Charts. They are essentially the speakers of the stereo. They're sisters who don't appear to get along, and the Queen of Charts basically has got a plan that she's going to take over the whole of Wonderland. Obviously the only person who can stop her is Alice. Alice goes to look for the rest of the buttons that make up the stereo, so along the way she meets fast forward, rewind, stop, play, pause, who likes to be called Bez, record, and the volume button. I think that's all the buttons she meets. And basically she goes on with them and with her brother Lewis, who has also been brought into Wonderland by the eject button. They all go off and find the Jaberwocky, the Jaberwocky is kind of a mix of all the leftover bits, like the wires and all the other bits that make up a stereo. And through talking to the Jaberwocky, Alice learns empathy and also how to deal with essentially the loss of her father. And that's kind of, in short, what the production is about. I'm going to cut now to the curtain call that I recorded on the night.
Thank you so much, everyone, for coming to watch our performance of Alice in Wonderland tonight. You've been a great crowd. We really appreciate it. As you know, Liverpool Everyman and Playhouse are a charity, and we rely on ticket sales and donations to keep afloat and to make the wonderful work that we do here. So please, at the doors, you'll find members of staff. Anything you can give, big or small, would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. You've been wonderful.
So what did I think of this production? I absolutely loved this. I didn't know anything about it going in to watch it, and I would describe it as kind of a musical panto. There are some really amazing songs within the production, and I think on the Playhouse website it describes it as like Brit-pop, which I think is a really good description, because there's some songs that give me the kind of stock Aching Waterman vibes, and then there's some that are like your late 90s easy listening rock songs. There's even a rap battle in it, so like it covers so many genres within the music. But then there's also this panto side to it, so you've got your classic audience participation, you know, the booing the bad guys, cheering for the good guys, even a little bit of he's behind you, that kind of classic panto participation. All of the audience sort of participation is triggered from eject. During the rap battle, I think it's the eject button, might be the volume button, one of them comes on holding signs up of like what they want the audience to do, so it's like cheer and boo, so it's kind of reminiscent of like boxing, where they, you know, used to have like bikini girls of like round one, and kind of thing. Sort of like that, but prompting the audience as a kind of guide to say, hey, we want you to interact, don't just sit in silence, this is a family show where you can join in. And I thought that was really cleverly done. And also just the classic panto thing of having jokes working on two levels and a bit of innuendo, just a super enjoyable panto experience, but with this amazing musical side to it as well. The performers in this production are absolutely phenomenal. They have so much to do. So not only do they have amazing voices and all of the acting and comedic timing, but they are all also playing instruments. In fact, I think there's only Alice who doesn't perform an instrument whilst on stage. So you might have seen in the curtain call bit, I pan up at one point and you can see there's like a balcony above the main stage, and on the balcony there was somebody who was constantly there as keyboard player but also conducting, and then to the side there was a drum kit, and from where I was sat you could constantly see different members of the cast going up to that drum kit to perform as the drummer for certain songs. But then they also had, actually on the stage, guitars, bass guitar, cello, trombone, like a marching band drum kit, loads of percussion instruments, even a keytar, and it was all the cast who were playing all of these instruments. So you had somebody dressed up as the White Rabbit with a full marching drum set that they were playing, whilst also having to remember to sing, act, dance and all the rest of it. Like, that is an amazing level of talent in my eyes, because yeah, I couldn't do that. The set and the costumes within this production are also amazing. So I think my favourite one is probably the Jaberwocky, who think Reptar from Rugrats, that kind of design, but it's the person who also plays Bez and Stop, who is on stilts controlling like a robot essentially, but also managing to act with like robot arms and robot head. Like, I don't know how you do it, first of all, but just the detail of that robot, even from where I was sat, which there was only one row behind me in the dress circle, so you know, it was basically almost the very back row of the dress circle, but you could still pick out the intricate details of that costume. The same on the Queen of Charts. I mean, I'm a sucker for anything that's got a bit of glitter in it anyway, and she had some serious glitter going on, but even the small details of the costumes were picking out at the back of the room, and yeah, they're just really, really pretty costumes. The thing that I liked about the set was it was quite a simple set in some respects, but essentially the giant bit of what is like the tape deck, when Alice first comes in to Wonderland, she's sort of stood in this like tape deck bit, and there's the classic like Alice being made mega big, like in the original book. It's like where she sort of busts out of the little dollhouse from the eat me and drink me potions, and then flip side she's super small. Might be the other way around in the book. It's a while since I've read the book, to be fair. But in the set, they had this section and you could see her, and then it sort of went into like a silhouette, and when she went super big there was like a cardboard arm came out that was like coming out from the side, so it was as though she'd been made huge, and then when she was shrunk down the eject button came out and had Alice as a puppet, so it was like she was super small, and then it went back to the silhouette of her being made to the right size and coming sort of through the stereo. Very cleverly done. I also enjoyed that the whole premise is about this stuck tape, and you could see all of the ribbons of tape were all sort of across the back of the stage and fed through all the different bits of the stereo, so it did look as though you'd taken the back off a stereo and you were inside it. It was just really nicely done. They also had bits of the stage that like pulled out and didn't look as though they should pull out. Yeah, so at first glance it's a simple set, but there's a lot going on with it, and I thought it really added to the production. So I've already said about the cast being super talented, but I do think there were 3 performances in particular that stood out to me. So the first one is Paislie Reid, who was playing Alice. I think there's only maybe 3 scenes across the entire production that she isn't in and not on stage for, and yet her energy levels didn't dip once. Even during the montage where she's learning empathy, where essentially she's doing a full like high intensity workout and singing, and she still, even after doing that, had the same energy levels as she'd had at the start of the production. Very impressive. Like, I thought her performance was brilliant, and she did give the like teenage girl vibe. It wasn't sort of too forced. It was just, yeah, a really good performance. I also think Zoila Mitchell dos Santos was phenomenal as the little brother. So, like, the character of Lewis is the typical annoying little brother that thinks that they're a lot older than they are and that can do everything the older sister can do and wants to be involved in everything, but yet is still like too little to do anything and too much of a child. And Zoila just nailed it. There was like a toy dinosaur that Lewis has throughout the production, and the interaction between like Lewis and this dinosaur was exactly what a 7-year-old is like. Like, she embodied a 7-year-old essentially. Just knockout performance. And then finally we have Tomi Ogbaro, who played the Jabberwocky that I've already mentioned, the Stop button who does the rap battle with Alice, and my favourite character that he did, which was the Cheshire Cat kind of character. Oh, it was the pause button who likes to be called Bez. I sometimes think if you've got an actor playing multiple characters, the lines between those characters can become a bit muddy and they don't have a distinct characteristic almost. Not the case with him. Every character was completely different, every character was super high energy, and every time he was on the stage I could not stop looking at him because he just owned that stage essentially. His characters were my favourite ones of the entire production, and yeah, amazing, absolutely amazing performances from him and from Zoila and Paislie as well, but like I say, the entire cast is really good. So there we go, I would give this production 4 out of 5 stars. If you want to check out the music from the production, the song You Are Not Invited, which is the opening song of Act 2, that was recently on Elaine Page on Sunday, and you can catch that on the BBC Sounds app. You can catch up. I think the Playhouse have also released like a behind the scenes video of the recording of the song that then was played on Elaine Page on Sunday, so if I can find that video I'll leave that linked down in the description box for you as well if you want to check out that. The show is on at the Liverpool Playhouse until the 22nd of July, and then it is also on at the Plymouth Theatre Royal from the 1st to the 5th of August. It is a really fun family show and definitely recommend going to see it. On the way out, the Playhouse did give me a few of these like promo cards, and they do have a discount on the back of them. So until the 22nd of July, which is when the last day of the production, you can get 10% off tickets using discount code TAKE10. Again, I will leave the details down below in the description box, but there's a little QR code there as well, so I will pop up the QR code on the screen now if you want to follow the link, or yeah, Enter Take 10 at checkout for a 10% discount to be applied to the order. There you go, that's everything that I have for today's video. Alice in Wonderland at the Liverpool Playhouse and soon to be at the Plymouth Theatre Royal. Go and check it out, and if you've liked this video and want to see more reviews from the M62 corridor, hit the subscribe button down below. Thanks for watching, I'll see you next time. Bye!